Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Super Breakdown. Today we're looking at the RX-178 Gundam Mark II, piloted by Sheen with the Super Backpack. The Mark II is a really solid range suit at a really nice cheap cost of 2,000. So let's talk about it. You have your basic shot, of course, just like the other Zeta suits that we covered so far. When you run out of ammunition, it is just another press of square to get another, which is very handy for a range suit. It's good for every suit that has it, but it's very handy for a range suit because it means you will always have ammunition. You also have the bazooka and like the Yakishiki. It has the flak at the end of it, so even if they're just slightly out of range, the flak will track a little bit. You have a striker that you can call in, which is Camille. You can get him to fire off the 2 missile shots and the beam, or just the 2 missiles, depending. Very solid. Very nice. You also have the Super Backpack, which, when you activate it, changes up your moves a little bit. You now still have your basic shot, but it does a little bit more damage, and you have a charge on it. The charge will give you a thin line Garobi. It cannot be moved, however, the burst version can. You also now have the stronger blast that you can just fire off there, which is very nice. It has a little bit of a recharge period, but you can burst early to get it back automatically and get another line Garobi off of your burst, which is very nice. As you can see, it is the thin line Garobi. It's not as wide as some, so it's not going to hit everything. And you can still use your striker during this. But very nice. You have the ability to fire off a salvo of missiles that are very tracking. They track a lot by pressing back melee when in the super pack. So your main goal as the Mark II should be ranged with the intention of getting that super backpack up as soon as possible so that you can get in there and do some really nice damage with it. That was side melee. We'll get into the melee in the second half as we usually do. The Marasai can be incredibly tough to dodge when it uses that striker because it has really good tracking. So my recommendation is always to sidestep it if you can. When you have the super backpack up, you also have a melee charge. If you charge that, you get a moving version of the Garobi, which is really good because you can use it mid-movement. It doesn't lock you into plates. And you can just throw that out at any time, just like... we lost the pack right as I was about to show it off. Just like we did the first 2 times. Standard melee. Again, I recommend if you want the super backpack rack right away, go ahead and just burst. Even at half burst, it's why extend burst is so good on her. Because you get the super backpack back fully. You don't just get it for that attack. It resets the cooldown as if it didn't have a cooldown in the first place. You just get it again, which is very handy. So, going into the second round, we ask and answer, should you use the Mark II? Honestly, yeah, if you're somebody who likes range, this is a great unit. It's not 3,000, 2,500, it's just a 2,000 cost. It has a really solid range kit. Unfortunately, its melee kit is not as good, but it is still solid. If we get in here to melee, we have side melee. Alright, Marasai, come on. Side melee, which is pretty cool. You know, it's not bad. We have back melee, which is not bad. It's just the pop-up. Forward melee. Nice little combo. Standard melee. All very nice. There's also a dashing combo that you can do that uses both the beam sabers at the same time in the Dynasty Warriors Gundam move, which is really cool. But the melee, not super great. However, when you put on the super backpack, your melee changes as well. You now have a stun. You have the missiles that we talked about earlier. And you have... Trying to get it here. Trying to get it. There we go. We lost it. All of your regular melees turn into that stun, but you have a dashing melee that is a little bit different, which is pretty nice. The frustration of trying to do exactly one move on an AI is very interesting. There's the stun, which is not a long stun, but you can back-to-back with it, which is very nice. We'll go ahead and get the pack back again. We missed with the Garobi, but that's okay, because we have our own whenever we want it. It's dedicated, and it's a powerful thing to be able to stun into Garobi if you're quick enough. But especially if you have a teammate, oh, that was something there. Especially if you have a teammate that can pull off another one too, then that's very handy. If you can get a stun from them into your Garobi, very, very good. All around, I think this is a solid suit. I just think that its range kit is a little bit lacking. So if you're using it just for ranged, there's the 2 version that I was talking about earlier. Then you may be fine, but if you're using it for melee, you may be a little bit disappointed. I like it a lot, though. It's a very, very solid suit. We're going to wrap this up. I should have used my own one first, because now I wasted the cooldown on it. And now, stun into stronger shot. Get in there, Camille. And Garobi. And that's it. Let me know your thoughts on the Mark II in the comment section down below. Any tips or tricks you might have for other players. And until next time, I've been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that the Mark II has to offer.